going to have Ron Paul, who's recently in the news here from the RNC, basically giving him the shaft.
Yeah, and it turns out he left the convention yesterday without any media fanfare. In fact, he snuck out of the convention. Snuck out of Tampa without the media even picking up on it until Lou Rockwell pointed it out on his blog from the horse's mouth, and he just pointed out on his blog that Ron and Carol left Tampa the other day, and then they ran into trouble with the TSA. But to me, the real story there is not that they ran into trouble with the TSA. The story is that Ron left the convention. Like that's and everybody's focusing on the TSA issue. No. To me, it's quite interesting that he basically, I don't know what his reasons are, I assume it's general disgust, left the convention before his own son even gets to speak. And I think this is a good sign, because I think it may mean, now I'm speculating, I'm talking out of my you-know-what, but I personally have not been a big fan of either Jesse Benton or John Tate on the campaign staff. I have restrained myself during the campaign so as not to hurt Dr. Paul, not to cause dissension, but now that things have wrapped up, I feel absolutely free to say that these are incompetent and or sinister people, and I'm sure Dr. Paul leaving the convention early was not in their plans. So anything that frustrates their plans, I think, is a plus for the rest of us.
Yeah, there's been a certain amount of rumblings throughout the campaign, and it seems like with the Jesse Bentons getting some bad press with, I guess, sending a text to Peter Schiff regarding the Ron Paul people being rabble, which just seems very interesting to me because, Ron Paul is the candidate that he is because he has grassroots support. And, you can certainly call his grassroots rabble if you want. There's, there are people they're more or less tactful.
If you want to insult your own people, which Benton is an absolute expert at, then by all means do that. The people who make it possible for him, a guy with no discernible talents or intelligence whatsoever, to earn over $500,000, and then you turn around and insult them like that. I suppose that is one way of running a campaign, but not one that I would recommend. Yeah, it is richly deserved, and there have been a lot of people that I've seen in various Ron Paul sites who have tried to defend Jesse on the grounds that, well, we don't know all the things he knows, and there's probably a secret plan that he's got up his sleeve, whatever. Yeah, the secret plan is milk the Ron Paul world for all it's worth, and then move on to his next thing in 2016. That's the secret plan, and I don't think he's been particularly secret about it.
Well, maybe the next thing is Rand Paul. I don't know.
But you know what? I'm telling you, if Rand Paul runs for president in 2016, I think the most effective way that he could broadcast to the world that he is not serious is by hiring these bozos for his campaign. That would be the first thing he should do if he wants the world to know he's not serious.
Well, I like a lot of people say, I don't really know what's going on, but I've heard, sometimes I wonder, smoke and fire and all that stuff. It does seem like the Ron Paul campaign has been steering clear of Free Talk Live. I don't know what's been going on as far as being on the Alex Jones show, but Ron Paul was on Alex Jones on a great deal. We had him on during the 2008 campaign, but for whatever reason, I couldn't even get a call back for the 2012 campaign. I don't know why we got blackballed, but we're certainly on many more radio stations than we were in 2008. And I made every effort, dozens of emails and even more calls and, everything. I did everything that I felt like I could do to get him on, and I just couldn't get him on. So
basically we're
the rabble.
We are the non-respectables. There's nothing to be gained by currying favor with us, so we're just left hanging out to dry. We're basically dealing with people who don't even share Dr. Paul's views, and from what I can see, on, for example, foreign policy. They basically want to turn his foreign policy into, just water it down to no undeclared wars, which, sorry, but that's really not, that alone would not have yielded him the kind of dedicated support that he has. But that's what they want to do. They want to neuter him and make him into the way they tried to portray him in the campaign, a really, really tough budget balancer.
Yeah.
Well, they all say that. And it's like they don't want him to be who he really is, because they think somehow they're going to pick up the Sarah Palin vote. They're not. You're not going to get that, so you might as well just be who you are.
Ron Paul got a great deal of response and, more feet on the ground, doing so many more things. There's so many of the candidates were crushed under the Ron Paul, steamroller, just because people, put out signs and they're excited and they're doing things, and they make the other smaller candidates they weed him out. Huntsman, he couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah, I know. And Huntsman actually ran a vicious attack ad on Ron in New Hampshire, and he still couldn't beat him, even though Huntsman has all the establishment credentials and all the safe approved opinions and all the whole package. And yet there's Ron with all the unapproved opinions and his stubborn refusal to retract statements that appall, Peter Jennings or whatever. I mean, he won't do it. This is my position, and I don't care that it's not mainstream. The mainstream is what screwed up this country. Why would I be ashamed of being opposed to both Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and John McCain and Mitt Romney? Why would I have anything to be embarrassed about by that? These are the people who screwed up the country. I'm glad that I'm not part of that. Well, that resonates with a lot of people who are frustrated and who aren't just like the typical GOP, please exploit me Republican Party types who are just ready for another presidential election cycle where the GOP is Lucy with the football and they are Charlie Brown.
Yeah,
and it happens every 4 years, and Lucy moves the football away, and then 4 years later they say, but this time it'll be different.
Yep.